first assignment is going to be about journal papers. So let us discuss what are journals and journal papers. Okay, first of all, we should know what is a journal. So you know about magazines and newspapers, right? You know about magazines and newspapers, right? Journals are similar to that. In what sense? That they are like magazines and newspapers, they are also published with a frequency, with a periodically. Okay, so some journals are published every month, some are published every 2 months. Okay, some are published every 6 months. Okay, so like a newspaper is published every day, a new edition of the newspaper is published every day, a new edition of the journal is published again after a specific time period. So they are similar to that. But the difference is a journal is a collection of the recent research which is done in a particular field. Okay. The journal is dedicated to providing you a collection of recent research in a particular field. Okay. So if somebody says I am working on AASHTO code which was published in 1980 and I have written something and I want to publish it, they will not entertain because this is something old. Okay, so journals focus on recent research and they are published periodically. Who publishes the journals? There are some academic institutions like universities. University of Bahrain has I think more than one research journal. My university in Pakistan, NV University, they have a research journal. The university from where I did my PhD, King Fahd University, they have a research journal. Okay, so universities publish their own research journals. Okay, Applied Sciences University, they have there may be other universities in Bahrain who are publishing as well. Or it could be other organizations. Okay, we have a student chapter of an organization, right? In the department. Which ICE. Okay, there is an organization which is ITE as well. Okay, which other organization you know? Something from materials or structures. Someone which has manuals and these things. Anybody has taken soil? Soil? They do soil classification, right? Soil classification. Who has given this soil classification? There's an organization, right? Starts with a name. Ash? Yes. I don't know whether they have that or not. But AASHTO, if you go to the laboratories, okay, here or in the chemical department or chemistry department, the procedures and procedures you follow for material testing, they are given by another organization, ASTM. Okay, so these are examples of organizations which are not universities, but they are doing research. They are providing you material, research material. You are using their classification and procedures and methods and okay. People who have taken traffic, who are taking traffic, we have a manual, SCM, highway capacity manual. Okay, again, that is not published by any university. That is published by AASHTO. Okay, so these are other organizations. They are also academic because they are not commercial organizations. They are academic organizations, but they are not university. They are not educational. Okay, so these organizations also have journals. They also publish journals. Okay. Now, you know, in these organizations, there are experts who are working there, right? So, if they publish a journal, then that journal is supervised by experts. It is managed by experts. So, you know, the articles which are published are good. They are valid. They are accurate. Okay. There. Then there are other commercial publishers as well who do it for money. Okay. They are publishing research articles, but they are not part of the academic field. Okay. So they are doing it for profit, but still they have to maintain the same standards. It's not like, okay, I will publish a journal, I will publish whatever crap I want. Nobody will, recognize it. Okay, so even if you are a commercial organization, in order for your journal to be recognized, you have to follow the same standards. Okay, so journals can be published by academic organizations, universities or otherwise, or they can be published by commercial organizations, but all of them maintain the same standards and all of them focus on the same thing, which is what? Providing you what is the most recent research in the topic. Okay, journals can be print or electronic or nowadays both. Okay, any journal which you search, you will always find its electronic version as well. Okay, earlier they used to maintain a series of journals in the library. So the journal is published after every 6 months. After every 6 months, the library will purchase the new copy of the journal and put in the library. So you go to the library, you will see an entire shelf which is for one journal. This is for 2024, this is for 2023, 2020, something like that. But nowadays, all of them have their electronic version, so libraries also purchase their electronic version. Okay, but print version is still there for some of them, and some of them are only electronic. Some of them are only electronic. Okay, so what is a journal article? So if you consider journal as a book, then the article is a chapter in the book. Okay, so article is one part of the journal. It's one part of the journal. Okay, but it is different than a chapter, because in a book all chapters are connected. Chapter 1 is connected to chapter 2, 2 is connected to 3. Journal articles are not like it. They are in the same field, but it's not like they are connected to each other. Maybe one article is written by me, the other one is written by somewhere in US, and we both don't know each other. We don't know what we are talking about. Okay, but they are in the same journal. It can happen. Okay, so it's like a part of the journal, but it may not be connected to each other. Okay, who writes these articles? The experts in the field. Okay, because these articles are supposed to be about what? What was the main aim of the journal? To provide you recent research. So, if you are yourself a fresh student, then what can you say about recent research, right? So, the articles are normally written by experts in the field who already have the background knowledge and they are working on something advanced. So, it is written by experts, okay, and it's not like since this guy is an expert, so whatever he writes, we will publish it. It's not like this. Even when they give the article, it has to go through review. It is mentioned here. Okay. Anyway, it will come later on. But anyways, being an expert is not enough to publish a journal paper. Okay, so you see sometimes in TV programs or in newspapers, they will ask an expert to give their opinion. Okay, and they will say this thing will happen, then this will happen. Nobody will ask them, why do you know this? Why are you saying this? This is their opinion, their experience. They can write about it. So TV programs, newspapers, they are allowed. A journal will not allow. Okay, even if you are the best person in that field, if you are saying something in your paper, then it has to have a proof. You tested something in the laboratory, you have an equation which gives the answers what you are saying. Only then it is considered valid and authentic. Okay, so articles are written by experts, but even those experts have to provide evidence and proof of what they are saying in the article. It's not about opinion, it's not about experience at all. Clear? Okay. The research could be a case study or a primary source research. What is a case study? Somebody used a new material in US. You use the same material in Bahrain. This is a case study. This is a case study. This material is already used. They already tested it. They know what happens. But now you are doing it for Bahrain. It's a case study. Clear? Okay? But the person who did it for the first time, he is the primary source. Get the difference between case study and primary source. Case study is something which has already happened, but now you are testing or doing the same thing in a different case, for a different scenario. Okay? And primary source is what nobody else has done. You are doing it for the first time. Yeah? Okay. Yeah. This can be a problem for you, not a problem, like you have to work extra for the last one. Since they are talking about most recent research, and the person who is writing is an expert in the field. Okay? So many things are assumed that the reader will know it. Okay? There will be terms, concepts, equations, okay, which they are writing, but they will not explain. Okay? Because they were trying to explain the new things, the advanced things. So the old stuff, they will mention it, but maybe without explanation, or not enough explanation. Okay? So this is where you may have to read something extra. Okay, this paper, okay, I understand rest of the things, but this term or this concept, I don't understand. So you may have to go back and check what do they mean by this. Okay? So in a research paper, the explanation is less, especially about the background, especially about the concepts which are already there in the field. Okay? More focus is on the new work. Okay? Less on the old things. Okay? But as a student, you may have to learn about it from somewhere else. Clear? Clear? So in a research paper, they assume that the reader has the background knowledge. Okay. Why journal papers are considered useful sources of information? So we have other sources of information, right? Our dear Google. Okay. And what else? ChatGPT. And what else? The other bots as well, right? The other bots are there as well. There's one with the WhatsApp. What is that? The one which comes with WhatsApp. What you don't know. You spend 24 hours a day on WhatsApp. Come on. I think it's better or something. So whenever there's something useful, like you don't know about it. Only waste of time. Huh? You go here, you will only waste our time. Something useful, well, we cannot ignore it. It's called meta, I think. Anyways. So there are many sources of information. The point was there are many sources of information. Okay? Why journal papers are more preferable? Because of these points. Because they talk about information which is recent and you will not find it in the books. Okay? I'm going to say something which is very, very difficult for you guys. If you look at 2 editions of the book, if you don't even need a half a book, but if you look at 2 editions of the book, only the table of contents, okay, and try to see what is the difference between them. Okay, maybe one edition was published in 2010 and the other one is published in 2020. So there's a 10 years gap. But if you look at the contents, there's not much difference. In all those 10 years, maybe they just changed 1 or 2 chapters. That's it. Okay. So when something goes in a book, especially the textbooks or the reference books, it goes there when everybody has agreed on it. Okay? Like the sun rising from the east. So when the whole world agrees that the sun rises from the east, then it will come to the book. Okay? And then in the book you have to, like I mentioned earlier, in the book everything is connected, right? So you cannot just say sun rises from the east and then that's it. A book needs more information, right? It needs more information. So when you have enough information about a topic on which everybody agrees, then you put it in the book. So it takes a very long time. But people are working on it. In that long time, other people are working on it. So how do I know what else is happening in this field? So if I go to a book, it will normally give me an information which was agreed upon 5-10 years earlier. So if you want to see something more recent, you have to rely on journal papers. So journal papers are more recent than any other source of information, especially the books. The articles are on specific topics. The book tries to cover everything. Okay? So, for example, if you open the highway engineering book, you will find chapters which you did not study. Okay? Like in your case, you will find all chapters which you did not study, but there are chapters which the teacher did not talk about as well. For example, pavement engineering. There is a chapter of pavement engineering there. Okay? After highway, then we have traffic engineering, right? But if you go to the highway book, you will find a chapter on traffic engineering as well. So a book tries to cover many things. So it becomes long. It has lots of details. An article is very specific. Smaller, summarized, easier to read, right? Okay? It's like your notes. Okay? More focused. Then this is the thing which I was talking about. When you send a journal, I told you, you are an expert. You write a paper, you have to prove that what you are writing is accurate, valid, correct. Then this paper will go to the editor. The editor will check it. Okay? If he thinks your paper is good enough, he will send it to reviewers. Okay? And then the reviewers will check it. And if they find something which is not good, they may reject it or they may ask you to change it. So you see how many levels are there. Okay? I have to do my work, then editor will check it, then reviewer will check it, and then it will go for publishing. Everybody has to do their job, and the editor and the reviewers, and there is not one reviewer, 2 or 3 reviewers. In some cases, even 4 or 5 reviewers. Okay? And all of them are experts. The editor is an expert, the reviewer are experts, so all of them are checking it. Okay? So that's why it becomes more authoritative and reliable. Because so many experts have now agreed that whatever this paper is saying is true. Okay. From a paper, you can work backwards or forward to search for more information. Okay? So, at the end of the, you know about references, right? References. So, I told you in the paper, you may find a term which you don't understand. Okay? So, with this term, there is a reference. You can go to the reference list and see from where this term is taken, go to the reference and read more about it. Okay? Then there are websites. If you put the title of your paper, the paper which you are interested in, if you put the title, then it can also tell you who are the other papers who have used this one as a reference. So, for example, my paper, let's say I have a paper which was published in 2015, that's it. Okay? Now I want to see what others have done on my work. So I'll go to, there's a site which is called as Google Scholar. So I'll go to Google Scholar, I type the title of the paper, and it will show me the paper, and with that I will have an option to see which other papers have used my paper as a reference. So obviously people who have used my paper as a reference, they have worked after me, right? In the same field. Okay. So I can look forward as well as backward. Okay. I can see, if I don't understand anything, then I can look for background information. And if I want to see what others have done after this, I can check that as well. Okay. So a paper helps you to do both of these things. Okay. How do we search for journal papers, journal articles? And you can simply Google it. You type the title of the paper and it will show you, Google will show you. But Google shows you a lot of crap as well. A lot of garbage, a lot of trash. Okay. So I wrote structural engineering. It will show me structural engineering books and articles and websites and softwares. I don't want all of them. I want what? An article. Okay. So what we do is we use Google Scholar. Like we have Google Maps. What is Google Map? It's an extension of Google, right? So we have Google Scholar as well. So if you go to Google Scholar and search, then you will only get articles or maybe books. That's it. Okay, it will not show you websites and softwares and pictures and the things you like. It will not show you. Okay? Yeah? Google Scholar is there. Then there are some other websites I will show you in the video. So there are dedicated websites for research papers. Okay? Like Google is a search engine. So we have research databases or research search engines. So you can go there and search for the article. It is much more effective than Googling it and then looking at 100 results and then seeing which one is the article and so on. Okay. And then there are journals as well. So I know there's a journal in transportation engineering. I can go to that journal website and I can search for an article. Okay. There are publishing websites as well. So I can go to a publisher's website and I can search for an article, search for a topic. So it will give me the results from that journal or from that publisher. Okay. So you can use Google Scholar, you can use research databases, search engines, or if you know a publisher or a journal, you can go and search there. An article. Okay, while you are searching, you can make your search more effectively by planning for it. Okay, don't randomly start searching. It will waste your time. Okay, first of all, think about the topic and the concept which you want to work on. Okay, think about it before you start searching. Okay, so I want to do something in structures, but structure is a very vast field, right? It's a very large field. So what concept in structure we are looking at? Okay, are we talking about pre-stress concrete? Are you talking about? Okay, but you get the point, right? Okay, so we are talking about this or this or this. So plan for it, what I am looking for exactly, what topic I am looking for exactly. Then, related to that concept, what are the key terms, key words, key phrases? What will best represent this term? Or what will best represent this concept? Okay, so in construction we have delays, right? We have delays. So delay, you can write time delay in construction projects. This is one way of saying it. Okay, or wastage of time, project failure, time delay the project failure, right? So they can be different terms which are used for the same concept. Which are these terms? You should know about it. Okay, this is just the planning phase. Then you try searching. Okay, so I've already selected the topic. I have noted down what terms are best representing the topic, and now I will search for these terms. Okay, so I said then after you start searching, then it's trial and error. So I put the first term, I look at the results. Are these results relevant? Are they good? Are they recent? And so on. Look at them. Then you can refine your research. Okay, so there are these search engines, they give you options. You can only see the results from 2010 onwards. I don't want to see the old papers. Okay, you can do this. Okay, or when I say delay, it is giving me many other things which are irrelevant. So let me change the term. Let me say construction delay or something like this. Okay, so changing the terms, changing the time, focusing on a country, maybe. Okay, construction projects in Bahrain, something like this, adding a term. Okay, so then it's a trial and error procedure. First you have to plan the topic, the terms. Then you start searching, look at the results. Based on the results, do trial and error. How can I make it better? Okay, what is causing the problem? Okay, when you look at the research paper, what are the things you would normally see? On the top of the research paper, you will see the title. Okay, the first thing you will see is the title. Then you will see authors and their affiliations. People who wrote the paper and where they are working. Okay. Then you will see the abstract. Abstract is like a summary of the paper. Usually that comes after that. Then we have the introduction section. In the introduction section, you provide the background of your topic. Okay, the importance of your topic. Why did you work in this topic? Why it is important? Who will be affected by it? Okay, what are the issues you are dealing with? If there are any important new terms, you can explain it in the introduction. Okay. Then we have methods. Here you explain the methods, any method which you have used in your research. Method of data collection, method of experiments, method of calculation. Okay, any methods used in the research should be explained there. Okay, in this section you will find a lot of details. Okay, usually more details are there in methods as compared to details, meaning more definition, description, explanation. So everything is in the methods. Rest of the sections are not that detailed. Okay, but the methods, since they have used it, they have to explain. Okay, and those can be the methods used for collecting the data, organizing the data. Maybe they have used a software. Maybe they have done some coding. All these things are explained there. Okay, they have developed new equation. How did they come up with a new equation? That should be explained. Then we have the results. After applying the methods, what did you observe in your research? So it will come in the results section. Then we have the discussion about the results. Okay, so mainly then we focus on the reasons. Okay, so you tested a new material and its strength is higher than the old one. So in the discussion section, now you will discuss why this new material has more strength. Okay, maybe it has a different chemical composition, maybe it has a different texture. So you will explain these things in the discussion. Okay. Also in the discussion, we write if my results are complying with other studies or not. If I did this in Bahrain, the results are different. Somebody did it in US, the results were different. What were the reasons? Okay. So if there is any similarity, if there are any differences, again, they are part of the discussion. Then the last section is conclusion. Okay. Last section is conclusion. So in the conclusion section, then you include the main findings of your research. The main findings. Okay. From where will I get the main findings? The previous two sections. Results and discussion. You can also rewrite the objectives of your research. Okay, what were the objectives of the research and did we achieve it or not? But mainly the results and discussion, then you pick which are the items which are more important from here and then you put it in the conclusion section. One more thing which we put in the conclusion section is the future work. Now maybe you are yourself planning to do something in the same field in future, so you mention it here. Or you are recommending others that this should be done in future in this field. So that will also be part of conclusion. Then acknowledgement. Acknowledgement is like a thank you note. Okay. So somebody gave you funding for your research, somebody allowed you to do the experiments in the lab, somebody helped you with the data collection. Okay. Somebody brought you burger when you were hungry. All these things. Then you put it in the acknowledgement with the name and organization. Okay. Clear? So acknowledgement is where you thank anybody who supported your research. It could be an organization, it could be a person. And then we have references. You know references, right? You have to list all the references. So these sections are normally there in all the papers. You will find these sections. Maybe the terms are different, but you will find them in all the papers. Okay, this is what it looks like. Our research paper looks like this. So here at the top, this is the publisher. Okay, this is the main publisher. Okay, so this is a very famous publisher, Elsevier. Okay, they have their own database. If you want to search for research journals, research papers, you can go to elsevier.com and you can search for papers. Again, it will only give you papers, so they only publish research papers. This is the name of the journal. Name of publisher, Elsevier publishes this journal. Okay? If you look at the top, you will find the issue number. Which edition of the journal we are talking about. So this is edition number 137 for the same journal. Okay, it's a very famous and very tough journal. So you can see here in 2020 they had 137 issues in 2020, and they don't publish every month. So 137 issues mean lots of years, and they are still there. Okay, so maybe they have crossed 150. Okay. So you can see the year, you can see the issue in which it was published, and you can see the paper number, paper ID. Then you see the title of the paper. Okay. You see the authors. Okay. And then you see with the authors A and B. Okay. So if you go to A, you will know where this author is working. Okay. And you know this one, right? No? He's still thinking. You know him? So at the time of research, this author was working there. At that, because I'm clarifying now. Otherwise, you would say, why didn't he write University of Bahrain? It was in 2020. It was doing PhD. Okay. So at that time, this author was working there, and so on. Clear? So this ABC is basically where the author is working. Okay. Then you see the abstract. Very important. You should read it and see the keywords. What are keywords? Important terms which are used in this paper. Maybe they are used repetitively, or maybe they are very important for the topic of the paper. Okay. So this paper is about driver distraction. They have collected data of naturalistic driving. They have collected self-regulated data. They have collected data on intersections. And they have collected data about secondary tasks. So anything which is important about the topic of the paper, any important term comes under keywords. Okay. And then you have introduction and everything else. Okay. So there are a couple of videos which are about the use of the library resources. Now you may start searching for papers, you may like a paper but you may not find it. Okay, so our library offers many papers and sources from where you can easily get the paper. Okay, so my advice is that you rely on their sources. So let us.
Hello everyone. This video is going to access the research techniques from the University of Bahrain's library website. For the website browser, go to library.uob.edu.bh and select English. From the list of databases, select the book section. Use your University of Bahrain password to log in. Use the search option to find the title or topic you need. For example, if you enter Islamic finance and click search, all the related content will appear. You will be presented with three options: download, read only, or add to share as favorite. If you are using the download option, you will first need to select the device, PC, iOS, or Android, and click continue and download Adobe Digital Edition software. Once the software is installed, you can then download and read the ebook. Thank you.
Okay, so this works when you are doing it from the university. Inside the campus, this works. Okay, if you are doing it from outside the campus, then this is what you need to follow.
Assalamu alaikum. In this video, I'm going to show you how to access the University of Bahrain's library resources. So first of all, we're going to start from the university's webpage, and we're going to go to library. then we are going to click over here on this website, One Electronic Library, over here. And we will get this page. However, this page will work when you're inside the university, connected to the university's internet. But what I want to show you in this video is how to get remote access to the library's resources. So we're going to click on Easy Proxy, accept the terms and conditions, and what we see here is a number of databases. Now, each one of these databases has different journals. However, common ones for us as civil engineers are Scopus, Science Direct, Sage, SpringerLink, Taylor and Francis is also common. So I'm just mentioning some common ones, so this will help you to search in the future for journals.
Databases from which you can get the articles.
EBSCO databases. Yes, so let's go into one of the very common ones, which is Science Direct. So now we want to search for a journal. Perhaps you want to search for something under sustainable structural engineering, something under this topic. So this is just an example. So hold on, sustainable. Here the keywords, and I'm going to search. Now I get all these journal papers under here. Chemical and structural engineering of transition metals. This is more under materials, I guess. Residual stress analysis for sustainable structural integrity assessment of an engineering component. So you have all these papers here. The ones where it's written full text access, this is the one which you can download the full paper for. So for example, here we have this as well, which you can download, and this and this and this, so you can download all of these. So over here, you may want to search for certain things, maybe book chapters, so in that case we'll take this maybe just review articles. So some people, they will publish journals, but then others, they will come and they will review these articles. So they will publish an article which is a review of another paper, so maybe you would want to look for that. So you have all these maybe conference abstracts, book reviews, so this is similar to review articles. Things like these, patents, and so on. Maybe you want to identify certain years, maybe you don't want very old papers, something from the 1990s. You wouldn't want something like that, maybe you want something more recent. So you could do that from here. So let's go ahead and download one of the papers. For example, a perspective on the role of uncertainty in sustainable science and engineering. Let's go ahead and try to download this. So we have this, and you can see you have the full PDF over here, so you can go ahead and download it. Now, another piece of advice, don't go and read the whole paper just to know whether you want this paper or if it's useful for you or not. First, what you do is, of course, you look at the title, that's the first thing, but the second thing you will do is read the abstract. In the abstract, what you have written here is supposed to be like an introduction, very brief introduction, and then the main idea of the paper, and then at the end they should write the results of this paper. So to give you a very good summary about the paper, especially if it's one written abstract. Of course, sometimes authors would not abide to this way. They might not write the results. But this is so what I'm telling you is the best way of writing the abstract. So hopefully, in most of them, this is how to be written. After you have a look at the abstract and you're happy with it, the next thing to look at is the conclusion. So scroll down to the end. So sometimes there'll be summary of a paper, but most of the time, let me just see what is the last, is not the last heading? Okay, so the last heading here is summary, but usually it's a conclusion section. So read the summary. It should summarize the entire paper, and then they should have some conclusions at the end. So the conclusions are what they basically conclude from the paper. So after you've read the abstract and the conclusion, or the summary at the end, this is when you can decide whether, okay, I want to go ahead and read the details in the paper, or whether, no, this is not relevant to what I want. So if the abstract and the conclusion are fine and you want to go ahead and read the paper, then the next thing is to just scroll through the paper, have a look at the figures, and then you can start reading the paper, starting from the introduction, of course, and you can move your way down. So usually in a journal paper, you have, of course, an abstract in the beginning, and then the introduction, and then they will explain maybe the methodology, or if they did some simulations, then they will describe that. And then you will have the presentation of the results, and a discussion of the results, and at the end you will have the summary and conclusion at the end. So when you're looking at papers, an important thing as well to pay attention to is the year at which the paper is published. Because sometimes if it's very old, then there may be more recent papers in the same topic with more recent information. So this is something to also keep in mind. Or maybe you want to have a look at a very old paper because it forms the basis of some scientific theory. So this is something to not to neglect. It's the date at which the paper is published. So this is all what I would like to explain to you in this video. Of course, we went into Science Direct. Of course, you can go into any other database and do the same search in order to search for other papers under the same topic. So this is Scopus. So you can do the same search as well. However, we're not signed in, and I'm afraid the university. Okay, so it's brought to you by Bahrain University, so you can go ahead and search over there. So I'll stop here. And I hope this video is useful and will encourage you to use the library's resource more often.
Okay, so video was useful. Yeah. So who do you go and thank for it? Who do you go and thank for the video? Okay. One thing which she mentioned, which is important for your search as well. So I told you, when you are searching, until I approve, you don't have to start working. So how do you make sure that this is a paper which you don't have to later on change? Okay, so I approve it, but then say, no, it's too difficult, we want to change it. Okay, so to avoid that, you have to look at three things in the paper. Three things in the paper. What are those things? Tell me. She mentioned it. Abstract, conclusion, and everybody misses the first one. These are the second and third. The first one is title. Okay. Look at the title. Is it interesting? Is it related to your topic? Then you read the abstract. Then you read the conclusion. If these things make sense, then you can go ahead and propose it, approve it, then you start working. And I already told you, you may have to do some extra reading to be prepared for it. Approving a paper or selecting a paper doesn't mean that you will know everything from start to end. part of lifelong learning. How to learn about new things on your own. It's part of it. Clear? Any questions? Okay, so I will upload